pick up from where we left off last time with her. She's a certified relationship coach and has deep insight on this stuff. And so far, spot on, in my opinion, and journey in history. Tiffany Aquino is back with us. How is everything with you today?
I'm wonderful, Steve. Thank you. Good to be back. How are you?
Good, 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 good. So we
Good.
we left off at point number 6 out of
Yep.
12. Before
Yep.
we pile it on, can we recap the first six?
Sure. Absolutely. Yes. So the title of this, of course, and this topic that we're talking about is how to know that you're in the right relationship. We left off at number 6, and that being conflict, which is why we really wanted to kind of dig deep into that. But the first one of those 6 would be, and I would say it kind of layers on all of these little pieces, right? Emotional safety and your nervous system is number one. Do you feel just naturally comfortable and calm around this person that you're in a relationship with? You know you're in the right relationship when your nervous system's just relaxed, right? And that's
Mhm.
just kind of a given. Either there's just something that's off, your nervous system's feeling a little on edge. And as you know, we've talked about energy before, and it's just kind of like if you can sit in the car with somebody and or just sit in a room with somebody, you don't feel necessary to feel like you have to have conversation. You just feel good being just in their presence, right?
Yep.
There's that edge isn't there. So that's how you know you're in the right relationship. With your nervous system tells you, right?
Well,
We've talked
okay.
about that
I,
before.
I'm just going to say yes and yes and yes. However, that ain't all of it. You have
Right.
to, it would be great if that was just it, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
there's more to it than that.
Absolutely, yes. So, in connection with that, then we have communication, right? So the first one is the nervous system feels relaxed, right? And we're going to get into that a little bit more with the other pieces that we have here, and why it would feel relaxed and why it doesn't feel relaxed. And sometimes you do have to be intentional with it being more relaxed, and that comes to emotional needs and communication. So that second piece here is communication. How do
Mm.
you know if you're in the right relationship? And the second one's communication. Do you feel safe communicating who you are in many ways? Your emotional needs, being vulnerable, emotional safety, like I said a minute ago, and communicating, feeling safe to communicate your needs, your boundaries with somebody, consistently with someone, and knowing that you're not going to get pushback, knowing that you're not going to get shame, knowing that you're not going to get judgment. That's how you know you're in the right relationship. Knowing that when you
Mm.
communicate with somebody, you're being heard, which kind of goes into one of our other points, the fourth point, which is being seen, valued, and heard, right? And I mentioned many times before, another piece of communication is listening too. It's not always talking. It is being a really good listener is so important. And a lot of times it looks like you're listening, but you're just waiting for the other person to stop talking so you get your point across, right?
Yeah.
That's really truly not listening.
Or you've already thought of what you're going to say and you're just like,
Right.
wait till we're done so I can say it. I don't hear what they said. I'm just going to say
Like,
what
come
I'm
on,
going to
let's
say.
go. I got
Yeah.
something to say, right?
Yep.
That's not
Completely.
the position we want to be in, because if we have that mentality and we're just truly not listening and being fully present, then we're really not, they're really not being heard by us,
Mm.
right? And which is the third piece, which is the effort. Make the effort, be intentional. So please be a good listener. And our perception of things, and we talk about a lot of this in reprogramming our mindset and having a healthy relationship, because a lot of 90, like I said before, what is it, 90-95% of the time we're on autopilot because of our perception of the world was how we were raised in the environment that were raised in, right? And then so you have two people in a relationship and their perception of the world is a certain way, which is why listening is so important, because you think you might know what they're going to say. You think you may know where they're coming from, but if you're truly listening, and sometimes listening requires not just what the words that are coming out of their mouth, but what they're not saying as
Mm.
well, right? Um, I
That's
think
a
that.
bit, that's a big one. You know,
Mhm.
being able to read them, get their vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm not here to say, kind of read between the lines and just figure it out. Obviously, but listen to what they're not saying as well, because a lot of times it could be, um, it's your perception of something, And if you just kind of put that off to the side, take your perception out of it and just be fully present. Look at their body language, listen to how they're wording things, listen to their tone, really try to have empathy. And I think that's just truly lacking in the world, compassion and empathy. And I say the three things that are missing are the three C's that are missing in the world, which is common sense, compassion, and common courtesy. So if you can just take some time to be present and fully listen and be an effective listener, and then come up with what it is you want to respond back with. And we mentioned this before too, in response to if you're in conflict, which is our sixth point, but you want to make sure you come back with not you statements. You want to come back with I statements. I feel this way when this happened. I felt such and such, right? And try to stay away from the you, right? Because immediately that puts anybody in defense mode right away. So yes, and point number four is, of course, being seen, valued, and heard. And who doesn't want to be seen, valued, and heard, right? And that takes time. It's about being intentional, about being present, fully present with somebody. Um, and we know, right? It's just our intuition and just our instinct knows that when we're in a conversation with somebody, we know we're not being seen, valued, and heard. I mean, there's just that connection, which is number five. That connection is off. There isn't a true connect because either you or the other person isn't fully present for the relationship. So being intentional, you mentioned before reciprocity, right? um, that energy, having that connection and that balance there brings, and that's how you know if you're in a right relationship, right? That connection is mutual. You have this this beautiful kind of like, I don't want to say I can read you, but certainly, the energy, you can feel the energy from somebody if they're fully present with you or not, and the connection's good, right?
Yep.
Which is good chemistry, right? And chemistry is not about the butterflies and as soon as you meet somebody, it shoots off the roof. That's just kind of superficial. What most of us have believed for so many years was chemistry, and they feel that if that's not there, then they're not in the right relationship. On the contrary, yes, we do want to have a physical attraction to somebody, but if it's like really hard fireworks right off the bat, that's a not typically a healthy sign that is a good connection or a good relationship for you when you have this immediate high and then it's going to come crashing down like a sugar high or a sugar low.
And all
So
the other things go away.
yes.
When that's there, you're like, "Oh, it's great, everything's great." Oh, well, we have red flag. That's not even a problem. You see another one. Like, hey, what are you doing later? You want to hang?
Yes.
Totally get it. You need to see the big picture, the big picture.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think we need to get used to um, really being proactive in our life about the traits of a healthy relationship versus all the false traits that we have been taught. We've just been so used to because it's all connected to feelings, right? That rush. And that's for so many years that's what we've been taught. But I think now the culture truly should be more proactive and looking at and gaining the knowledge at what are the traits truly of a healthy relationship, so I don't creating these same cycles and patterns. So yes, that's connection is number five in that first half of how do you know if you're in a good relationship, right? You're both wanting to invest, you're both wanting to initiate, and you're both wanting to show up. So that makes a good connection there. Um, so number six is the conflict piece that we ended on the last episode. And I mentioned how to fight right, right? And there's a way to fight wrong and there's a way to fight right. And of course, one of them being, like I said, that you want to way to fight right is, and I don't want to say fight, obviously. We're not talking about in the physical sense. That's a problem. We want to suggest some counseling and some separation at that point and just kind of get balanced and in a good space if that's the case. However, just on an emotional standpoint, to fight right, we want to use I statements. Focus on I statements and and refrain from the you statements. You did this, you make me feel this way. It's all you. And that, of course, puts anybody in defense mode. And both people now have got their nervous system completely out of whack and unregulated. And it's very hard at that point because now you're intertwined with two irregulated nervous systems, and it's a little bit more difficult to pull each other away and to go into separate rooms and to regulate. Kind of like the crying baby. The longer the baby cries, the longer it takes to soothe the baby, right? It's just all about the nervous system. And so being with somebody who knows what that means, who knows what a regulated nervous system means and knows the tools to regulate their nervous system when they're either being triggered or in a conflict,
Mm.
knowing how to de-escalate the conflict or that conversation, I think is a great resource and tool set to have in a partner. If they know, okay, this is what triggers me, this is what sets me off on certain things, and I'm not looking for the other person to change me or to make those go away. I know how to regulate myself, and certainly not many people want to talk to somebody who's got a sharp tone or who's in defense mode right away. And a lot of times you can feel their energy before they even say a word. So if you know how to regulate your nervous system and communicate effectively, I want to use the word professionally. So if you pretend or imagine that you're in a professional setting versus a personal romantic setting, sometimes that helps because people will act differently in a professional setting if they're upset about something and respond differently in a respectful professional manner versus uh, knowing that they're in a relaxed,
And
comfortable setting.
maybe even pull some of the emotion out because once the emotion fires up, there's where
Yeah.
things kind of go off the rails sometimes.
Yes, absolutely. And that's hard to do. I will
Yeah.
say it takes practice. It takes practice. And the only way for really for that to get better at that, I want to say, is to really know yourself. You really just, and
Mm.
that takes time. And it's not something that you're just gonna, do the research on and just say, okay, I gotta do this, and this. You need real life experiences for that to happen. And that's why I say the first step is awareness and the second step is to pause and breathe. If you can just make those a habit, if you can just be aware if you're in a situation and make those a habit, and being in a relationship with a partner who knows how to regulate and make those a habit, and just you see them like, okay, let me think about this for a minute and just give it a minute to respond to that situation or what you just said or whatever. And that I think it's very respect that I admire in somebody who can do that because that first step is huge. I have a lot of respect for people who can do that, especially if they've been set off for so long.
Oh
So
yeah. Just even in any situation where a medical procedure where you're all tense and everything, just
yeah,
calm
breathing.
down, calm it down, get back to earth, come
Oh gosh.
grounded. And if it's a conflict with somebody, same exact thing. I used to have
Yeah.
a boss, good friend of mine now. This is
Mhm.
this is going back a lot of years.
Yeah.
And when he first started in this position as
Yeah.
our supervisor, a lot of times he would walk into the room and he'd go,
Oh wow.
and I'm like, what is wrong? Is he like not doesn't like us? Like it's like he's I didn't know what that was at that time. Now I know he was just like,
He was
let me take a
regulating.
moment. Right. And it was especially when times got a little challenging, he was
Uh-huh.
just like, all right, we got to take care of that. And I'm like, but I was reading it the wrong
Interesting.
way because I didn't know.
Sure. And I don't know, maybe he didn't realize he was doing it. It could have just
Maybe.
been very subconscious. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a good example for everybody else. They
But
probably
you know
weren't.
what? He now practices yoga and does a lot of other stuff, and that came
Oh,
after
wow.
a major health situation. And so
Okay.
I guess that sort of was in him, but now he's taking it, steps deeper.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, all this stuff works, the regulation and
Absolutely. It
having a
does.
sense of self.
It does. Yeah. So I mentioned before that breath work is something that I'm a huge advocate on, right? And Everything in life comes down to the nervous system. It just does. If you can pick yourself up after, I just watched a recent Mel Robbins episode, and she said, the really truly that it's about just getting yourself out of bed in the morning and knowing that if you can just take that first step for that first part of the day, that is a huge that challenge. For most of it probably doesn't seem like a challenge, but really it's about just going through and pushing through the day. And I mention that because that's the relationship with yourself, right? Which is what I like to teach too. And yeah, kind of wanting to stay on course here, but yeah, so conflict and wanting to fight right versus fighting wrong or incorrectly, being aware, having emotional regulation, and um, using I statements versus you statements.
Yep.
Yeah. So now we're going to move on to the seventh point that we want to talk about, and that's a huge one, kind of what I was just mentioning here about the self-development piece and having the relationship with yourself, which is you don't fear losing yourself. And we've heard that many, many, many times. Or either we've seen someone from a distance, right? Or we're a parent and we've seen our kid go through a relationship. And we're like, I kind of see you're losing yourself there, honey. It's like, are you
Mhm.
sure you're in a healthy relationship? Or you see that in a friend in the relationship, or you just simply see it in yourself too in the relationship that you have with somebody. When you sense or see that you're losing yourself, um, or to know you're in the right relationship, you're not losing yourself, right? That you still have your sense of self, you still have your dreams and your passions, and you're actively still pursuing them. That's how you know you're in the right relationship. When all of that kind of falls down to the wayside, you know there's something that's not right here, and you're not in the right relationship. Most likely, you're in a codependent relationship. Either one or both of you have some codependency, and you're relying too much on the relationship itself to for you to feel validated. So,
Well, yeah, and that's, different. We talked about different relationship styles, especially if somebody has codependency,
mhm.
they need somebody else to feel whole. Like
Yes,
the movie Jerry Maguire, You Complete Me?
yes.
Not good.
Yes. And like you said, a lot of that's codependency. And in regards to attachment styles, let's discuss the one particular attachment style that's in relation to that, called the avoidant attachment style. And I don't want to get too deep into this. However, I have studied narcissistic traits for quite some time as well, for about a year and a half. And it can get kind of confusing and messy. Is this person just an avoidant, or are they showing me some narcissistic traits here? Is this a narcissistic relationship? And we can talk about that in another episode. And
That we could do 10 podcasts on that.
I know. And it truly is fascinating. I think
Yeah.
of going through all this self-development and all the experiences and getting all this knowledge about having a really good, healthy, grounded relationship with yourself. The learning the narcissistic traits and learning about narcissism just is incredibly fascinating. And
Yeah.
I find it fascinating because it's just from the psychological mindset of it all. But
Me too.
yeah,
And I always try to process it like, where did that start? Where does that
correct.
come from? Which we'll get to, next
Yes,
time.
absolutely. Yes, for sure. We'll have to make a good meaty episode on that one so that we could
Mm,
help people become aware of that. And the reason why I want to make people more aware of that is because I feel that it truly is becoming an epidemic, more so because of the social media that we're having nowadays. And
yeah.
and it kind of blends into, not kind of, it does blend into the avoidant attachment style. I'm not saying that because you're an avoidant attachment style that you're a narcissist. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I am saying, however, is that narcissists do have an avoidant attachment style.
Yep.
So there are other traits that make a person acute narcissist. We all have narcissistic traits. I want to say that first and foremost. So
Speak for yourself.
yes. So, but an acute narcissist, someone who can be surely diagnosed with it. There are many other consistent traits that go along with that.
Yep.
So yeah. So losing yourself in a relationship is knowing that you are not in the right relationship. When you're not losing yourself, when you're still pursuing your dreams, when you still have passion, when you still are going to the gym every day, when you're still taking care of yourself emotionally, mentally, and physically, You are in a good, healthy relationship, and that person is supporting you in whatever it is you're doing. They are offering you emotional support, they're offering you physical support. They're your cheerleader. That's how you know you're not losing yourself and you're in a healthy relationship.
Mm.
And yeah, so down to point 8. This one I love because how quick we lose sight of this one. They choose you. You don't have to fight for it. For goodness sakes. Like, why
Mm.
don't they like me? What's going on? What's blah, blah, blah. And I want to talk about that too when we go move into our episode of narcissistic traits. They choose you. It's clear and it's consistent. They don't leave you second guessing. They don't make you feeling like it's conditional versus unconditional. If you're in a healthy relationship, you don't have to earn somebody's love. It's just given, right?
Mm. Mhm.
And for many of us who grew up um, um, growing up in our childhood where there was a lot of trauma, most likely, almost always, it was you had to earn love, and love was conditional, right? You were only shown validation and love if you did something right,
Yep.
right? If
Mhm.
you were good. So if they choose you clearly and consistently, if they don't choose you, please don't waste any time on it and make them choose you. Whatever it is, whether it's something you say or how you look or try to compare, make this point that if they don't choose you, they're telling you, I'm not a good fit for you. Please move on. This is exactly what they're telling you. I'm not a good fit for you. You don't want me.
And
You don't,
there's where your courage has to come in,
yeah,
where because probably going a little deep here, you're probably with them because of your challenges that you're probably unaware of,
right.
where you felt that, oh, I got somebody there and it's good. Well, it's not perfect, but it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
They make, I have to dress a certain way, whatever it might be, jump through a
Sure.
hoop or whatever. Um, but it's okay. No, 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 it's really not.
Right, right. And not only do they choose you, but let's think about how are they choosing you? Are they choosing you for superficial reasons? Just because somebody chooses you, you're not supposed to go, oh my God, this is it. This is it. This
Right.
is somebody chose me, somebody likes me. It's like, no, there are other 100 million other fish in the sea to choose. So just step back. Now, do you choose this person? Because love is about choice. It's a daily choice, right? And is everything that you see and want and standards and values aligned with this person as well? And that's one of our other points that we're going to move on to as well.
We're out of time.
No.
Yes, we are. Ah,
Okay, so we
geez,
can
hell.
finish this in our next episode.
With these additional points here, two words: don't settle.
Absolutely.
Don't settle.
100%.
And
Don't
it's easier
settle.
said than done. And sometimes it takes time and a journey to realize who you are,
Yeah.
what you want.
Yes.
And somebody actually, I'm currently single. Somebody said to me, a friend of mine, he
Mhm.
said, well, maybe you're not ready. I'm like, dude, I'm ready. I know what I want. I do. But it
Absolutely.
took a journey to really fully define what that is,
Sure. And,
you
and
know?
and yeah, just because you're ready and you're single and there's nobody in your life, that does not mean that you're not ready, and that does not mean that there's something wrong with you. It very well could mean you have good, healthy standards and high standards. And that's exactly where each and every one of us should be, because we've worked on ourselves and we're not going to waste time on the clarity that we now see where that's just not aligned with us. And that's
Mm.
that's just how it is.
Or just have lots of friends and leave it at that. But
Yeah.
don't settle. And you
Mhm.
know, all great points. I know you're in the right relationship. So we're up to number 9, just
Yep.
touching number
So we'll
9.
do number 9, 10, 11, and
I'm
12
good,
on our
Steve.
next
Thank you
one.
for having me back.
Beautiful.
How
And
are you?
maybe even I'm good, but apprehensive to find out what points 9 through 12 are, but we are going there. And before we get there, why don't we do a quick recap on 1 through 8?
Okay, sure. So 1 through 8. One is how do you know if you're in the right relationship? And many relationship coaches kind of have their own little spiel about what that looks like. And of course, we can talk about that later. But number 1 is your nervous system is calm. And I don't want to just say that that's just how it is all the time. Obviously, no. When you're in the right relationship, truly that they set your triggers off, and you kind of work on those together. So balancing the nervous system and them helping you bring it to a calm. Number two is communication, effective communication. Number three is both partners put in effort and time and take
Mm.
initiative. Number four is about the emotional side of things, being seen, valued, and heard. Number five is connection. They show up. You both show up for each other. There's intentionality there. And number six is conflict and how to repair that conflict. Number seven is you don't fear losing yourself. Many times when you're in the wrong relationship, you start to find that you're losing yourself. You kind of pull away from your hobbies, your passions, your dreams, your desires, your day to day of something as simple as going to the gym and your typical daily routines, and you see that that kind of falls to the wayside. And when you're in a healthy relationship, you and your partner are both aligned
Mm.
in that, and you're still good to go, and you're still yourself, and you haven't lost yourself. That's number seven. Number eight is they choose you. Many times that we feel that we have to be chosen all the time, or why didn't they choose me? And you're making efforts to make them choose you, and you don't need to do that. In the right relationship, they choose you. It really is as simple as that, and they don't leave you confused about it. And number nine is what I have been seeing quite often in the Instagram reel and social media reel. It is what most people are wanting some information on right now, and it's called emotional safety. Emotional safety is truly you both feel emotionally safe with each other, and what that means is that you're both feel vulnerable enough to be open and have an open heart with one another. And in order for you to do that, you feel safe with each other. And why you feel safe with each other is because you have built that trust with each other. And then combined, you have this emotional intelligence. So within that emotional intelligence, combined with the emotional safety, that builds a very strong foundation called that friendship. And every romantic relationship, if you have a solid friendship foundation, you've got a beautiful romantic relationship and
Mm.
marriage to work off of it. You have to have a very good, strong friendship.
There's nothing better than when you hear from somebody else. If you're a man and you're with a woman, doesn't matter. When somebody says to you, "I feel safe with you,"
Yes.
it's the ultimate. It's the ultimate thing, It's short of "I love you,"
Yeah.
you know.
Yes. It's there's a lot to be said about that. And we're also going to talk a little bit about some narcissistic traits. And if you're
Don't ruin it.
feeling,
Don't ruin it for me.
okay, I do want to
I
come
was on a
back to
little high
this.
there. It was like, somebody says that. Got to hear that
It's
again.
so just like trust and the emotional safety, it's something that you build, right? It's not something you meet somebody overnight or on a dating app and you say, okay, we're both emotionally safe with each other. It's a beautiful compliment. And maybe in the moment in the conversation, you felt safe to be vulnerable with that person. And that's what that comment meant.
Mm.
However, there are some traits that move along from that don't allow the relationship to grow in a healthy manner. And we'll move into that as to what exactly I'm talking about. I do want to move into point 10. So we're going to so we talked about number nine, which is emotional safety, and that is the vulnerability to feel safe with your partner and your partner to feel safe with you. You're giving them space to be open with each other, and you're not going to judge each other when you're being open with one another. You're emotionally safe with them. You're not being judged. You're not being shamed. And the love there is unconditional. So number 10 is you grow as a person. Kind of what I talked about previously is that you don't lose yourself. So you grow as a person. You want to help your partner grow as a person. Your partner wants to help you grow as a person. You know you're in the wrong relationship when they're putting you down and they're kind of keeping you stuck, and maybe sometimes on purpose. There is a confidence in the relationship. It's grounded. There's self-awareness. All of that are healthy traits within that growth process of point 10. Point
Hmm.
11 is your values align. This one's huge because when you're in the right relationship and you're looking for a partner, of course, separately, we've got our own boundaries, we've got our own standards, and we have our own values. What are we looking for exactly in a partner? What do we value, right? And do their values align? So we make a list of what we value, and then they've made a list of what they value. Do they match? Are you a
Hmm.
match? Are you compatible?
I,
If your
I'm gonna
values,
I'm gonna guess that this one is probably more important than
Mhm.
we realize.
Correct, yes, and it's
Hmm.
because it's very similar to your
Yeah.
belief system.
It's like, are we on the same page?
Yep,
It's,
compatible.
yeah, almost to the point. It's like, what do you want to do this weekend? Well, let's go away for a day or whatever it might be overnight, where you don't even have to like go back and forth on it. Yeah, well, okay, let's go there. You want me to book it? Yeah, no problem. Or you
Right.
do it anyway because you
Yeah.
know that you're connected that way.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
And for example, if somebody values family and the other person doesn't value family, and you want to spend your weekends with family time, whether it's your family, their family, whatever, but just you simply appreciate family, and the other person doesn't, and they're constantly pulling in the opposite direction, then it's not a compatible relationship. So those two do not align. And so your values aligning are a big deal. That's a big one, and your belief systems as well.
Mm. Mm.
Uh-huh. So that's 11. And number 12 is kind of the same thing with all of these have little bits and pieces that all stem from safety, truly. So number 12 is that the soul feels at peace. If you've ever heard the term, well, do you feel at peace? What makes you feel at peace? Are you at peace in that relationship or in that job?
You know
And
what makes me feel at peace? Not being with anybody. I'm kidding, but I'm not. Sorry, not
no,
sorry. Uh,
no,
but you know what? It
it's,
took me a long time to get to that point where, like,
yeah.
I'm at a meeting last night, around, a little late. And what was I looking forward to? Getting in bed
Home.
and just meditating and just chilling and listening to music and,
That's the best.
being with
Absolutely.
me. And so many of us, I don't know, it took me a long time to get there. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's a beautiful place to be in. It took you a long time to get there, you said. For a lot of people, it does. For a lot of people, they don't want to even think about going there. And unfortunately, that's the anxious attachment style.
Yes.
And that's the narcissist as well. They are terribly afraid of being alone.
Hmm, really?
Terribly afraid of being
I'm not a
alone.
narcissist and I know it.
Yeah, so um
What's number
uh,
12 then?
so number 12 is that your soul feels at peace.
Yeah.
And so we're going to back up, and all of those one through 12 have a little bit of that safety aspect in there. It all lines to, okay, do your values align? If they don't align, then I'm not feeling at peace, or I'm not feeling safe with this person. If they don't choose me, then I'm not feeling safe with this person, right? And if we're not growing together, then I'm not feeling safe with this person. So all in all, you're in the right relationship if you feel safe with somebody and they feel safe with you. It's really
Hmm.
that simple. Yeah.
All
So
right,
there
there's
you
1
go.
through 12, and now on
Hi,
to
it's Tiffany, Coach Tiffany. I just wanted to say hello and thank you to all of my subscribers out there. Thank you for subscribing, and don't forget to hit the like button. It really means a lot, and I appreciate your support. Also, if there's anything that you want me to cover or create in any kind of content, please feel free to go ahead and comment below. Thanks again. Have a great day.